Oh, I have always voted Labour, yes, because I think at one time they were all right, but they're just feathering their own nest.
I left school at 15. I went 3 years at Pitt, then I had 6 years in the army, and then I just had 30 years down Pitt, Askern Pitt, on the cold face. And here I am now taking money off me because they can. I don't get an army pension. You've got to be in 12 years for a army pension. There's got to be a pit pension and a old folks pension. That's it. It's not very much.
And I suppose it's enough to put you that you can't claim pension credit.
I can't claim anything, nothing. Pay full tax, full council tax, full rent, pay everything full. Everything's full. And worked all my life for that.
We don't think much at all of what the government has done about the pensioners at all. Taking the £300 off us for the allowance, for the heating allowance. We find now we've got to cut back on a lot of things in our life now to make sure that we can make ends meet. We were going to have a caravan at the coast, but that's been shot out now. We can't do that now because we've got to make sure we've got enough for the heating of the place. It is a new build and it does keep the heating very good. I think Labour's let us down big time. You know, I think they're showing their true colours. They've only been in 2 or 3 weeks. God knows what it'll be like by the end of the year. I don't think.
That's my log pile. Hi, I'm James Thompson. I live on this caravan site which I call Tin Shed City, because that's all it is, and I am disappointed with the new government not helping the pensioners and older people, including myself, because of the fuel bill that they're not going to get. I think it's a disgrace, and I think he ought to be same done to him when he gets to his age, but that's not going to happen because he can afford it.
It's come as a shock that we've been cut this £300 plus more whatever per year for the year. I do believe that Labour have got to think again about it. Our main thing is that we are just above the level to get pension credit, but only about £2.50. Well, that £2.50 means that we can't get the fuel allowance. We also have to pay a full rent of £75 per week, which we wouldn't have had to pay on pension credit. We have £1,000 a year council tax to pay, well, £1,000 a year, but even it's £1,200. And I just think it's penalising the wrong end of society. I'm sure there's other ways of saving this money without hurting people the most, that are the most vulnerable.
I'm just going to put my heating on. There we go, central heating's on, and we'll leave it on for an hour just to warm the rooms up. And then just make sure all windows are shut. Thermostat's on, radiator down to number 3. Hiya, I'm Pete Foster from Askern, born and bred in Askern, worked all my life, and I've got a nice retirement now, living with my dog and my cat as a pensioner. And sometimes I disagree with principles of the government with the pension is okay, but the winter fuel allowance is going to leave me a little bit tight over winter. To make things better, I do all my bills by direct debit, and then whatever's left I try and keep a few coins and put in a little tin or a little packet, so I've got enough to pay for my food bill, which I pay for cash, or sometimes I use my bank card, but mostly cash. Anything else extra I need, dog groomer, cat food, that comes out of the tin, what I save up for. I've got a little pantry where I keep it topped up all the way through the summer, so when it comes to winter time I've got enough there to say that's enough on that side and save a few extra bob to pay for my bills.
And you said as well what you do in your garden. Explain.
Grow in my garden, grow my vegetables and my fruit so I can make pies. I grow my vegetables so I can freeze them, and I've got enough there to help me on that side of the job for my stew pot and my dinners.
I've got £99 on my gas, and I've got £90 on my electric. I have a bit of a problem with me bills, but what I do, I pay £10 a week all year round, so that when it comes to Christmas time, I've got a little bit put by to pay my bills, my gas and electricity.
And what's the worry now? Now, when you're losing the allowance of £300 a month?
When I lose this, I'll be struggling a little bit, especially if it gets cold like I did other year. But I don't think we're getting as bad a winter now as we used to do. But then again, getting older, you feel colder quicker.
The way I keep my caravan warm is by a wood and log burner, and it's quite easy for me to get the wood, but to buy a bag of coal, it's really dear now, so sometimes I struggle and I don't use very much of it, and sometimes I do my cooking outside, and my gas bottle here is pretty dear, and that's for me hot water, my shower and washing and everything. Other than that, it's okay. Yeah, I used to work down the mine, and Thatcher, bless her soul, she even shut down 3 of them furnaces before she went away, and bless her soul, and I would never vote Conservative if my frigging life depended on it, so that's why I stuck to Labour, and he's kicked us up by not giving us fuel allowance for winter time.
I've been a member of the party for 27 years, around that. I've been a supporter of the Labour Party in 1954. But I'm very disappointed now, very disappointed. And that Mr. Starmer didn't have Cheetos. I think it personally.
Yeah, I don't believe they've cut it too low. I mean, people that are just above that threshold, I mean, we're being penalised thousands of pounds, which we'd rather had the rent. And it's just, it just makes it so difficult for us. People who can afford, people with thousands in the bank and things like that, they don't need the £300, I agree, it's got to be cut somewhere, but why cut it so minimum towards the poorest in society are being punished?
My central heating, when I first get up in the morning, I put the thermostat on, so it clicks on. By the time I've been to the bathroom, I'd have washed and come through, kettle on, the living room's warming up, and once I sit down with a cup of tea, I get sat down, settle down, and shut the doors, and so I've got the room's aired off, and after about an hour when it's warm, turn the central heating off until nearly bedtime. Put central heating on at bedtime, and just leave it on for an hour, so that airs all the house on. But I do turn the thermostat down to number 2 and 3.
Like I said, I'd put my own wood and coal burner in, but before that I had no central heating in the caravan, and quite a few years ago now we had a bad winter and a bad freeze for nearly 2 months, and I had frost on the inside of my windows of my caravan. Now that's not fair at all. Now if I'd have been an older person, then probably end up with cold, pneumonia or something like that, but luckily I don't. So if it had been somebody else older than me, then they might have not survived that winter.
And Diane, the point, because you two are fairly recently married.
Yeah, so 2 years, yeah.
So, and you were saying that if you didn't live together...
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
it's
fact.
true.
Yeah, if we made a conscious decision to move in together and then to get married, and unbeknown, we didn't think that it would affect us much, but with the new state pension, both getting it separate, that is what takes us just over. If we hadn't moved in together, I could have got pension credit, Diane could have got pension credit, but
Yeah,
we're being
just-
penalised for
being married.
being married.
Being together,
You
you
get
know.
what I mean?
And that's crazy, because you'd only be claiming once as well.
Yeah.
Of course you would.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah. So it's
mad.
That's
just
another
not
thing
right.
that
It's just
Yeah.
not right. It's,
Yeah.
I think there's not been enough thought into it. She's just come with a
Sweeping brush.
sweep him straight through, and
Yeah.
I don't think enough thought's got into it. I do believe there'll be a backlash, and I do believe that well, hopefully they will do a U-turn and alter it in a more amicable way.